this game was crazy, yo. This game was kind of wild. This was a crazy game. This was a crazy, crazy, crazy game. Not necessarily my favorite type of game, but it was very enjoyable. I like these great big quarterback battles that you get with Josh Allen and Lamar, but I like them better when the defenses are involved. And I felt like in this game the defenses were did not really come to play for either side. You had moments, both defenses had moments where they were playing well, but for the most part, I feel like both defenses just kind of straight up didn't show up. I mean, the score was 40-41, and that's not just because Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are great quarterbacks. It was also because these defenses are just not, clearly not at a place where they're ready to compete for legitimate championships. But they have the pieces for it. And these quarterbacks, I mean, start off with like Lamar Jackson's the best quarterback in the NFL. Like it's not even a question. And Josh Allen is the second best quarterback in the NFL. And depending on the week, you can literally just switch them out. Like it's just that's where we're at right now with these two guys. It's like oh, you know, his performance was slightly better. I guess Josh Allen's number one today. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just how good they are. And I think they're just ahead of everyone else. And that, no offense to Chiefs fans, that also includes Patrick Mahomes. I just think those two are the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, off of just pure ability and ability to play the game, ability to play the position. I think they are the best at that. I do think there's other things that they are not as elite at, but I think they are just pretty much elite in pretty much everything. But I'm going to start with the end of the game because there's just so much to talk about in this game. This game was just crazy. There's so much to have a conversation about. As you can see, I got the stats behind me, right? I'm going to go over those in a second, but I need to talk about specifically the last drive for the Ravens. There's so many little things in that drive, especially the last couple plays, that just really just showed me like why the Ravens didn't win last year. And also there are little things that show me why the Bills also struggle with the wins as well in the playoff setting, right? Because all these guys are great regular season quarterbacks and they're great in the playoffs as well. They just clearly both struggle to get the W in the playoffs in the biggest spots, right? Josh Allen has no struggle to get to the championship game, but he has a struggle to get past it. And everyone will go and, well, it's Patrick Mahomes and blah, 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 right? It's the Chiefs. And then, meanwhile, they'll also say that Josh Allen's better than Patrick Mahomes. And I struggle. I struggle with the back and forth of it. But you can see why the Ravens struggle and don't always... They find ways to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. And they did that today. You're up 15. I think there's up 15 with about 7.5 minutes left. They had a 99 percentage win probability with about 4.5 minutes left. And they ended up losing this game. And it's obviously, in my opinion, it's not really Lamar's fault, but it's not necessarily... I think everyone has to take blame in this particular scenario. Just as the Bills, everyone has to take blame for why the Bills were even in a 15-point deficit to begin with. But 3rd and 9, it's 3rd and 9. You need a first down to basically ice the game. You get a first down here, you ice the game. They're running... I didn't see the full play, but I know that DeAndre Hopkins was running like a dig, right? He was running a dig to the middle of the field, and I'm pretty sure it was covered by Christian Benford. I for the life of me don't understand why Lamar Jackson ran over to DeAndre Hopkins to tell him directly what the play was, and then run back and then actually run that play to him. I just was like, so you're going to run to the guy you're going to throw to. Tell him what the play is, and then directly throw to him. It just felt like, okay, you're literally just showing everybody that where you're about to go with the ball. Granted, great players. You know where I'm about to go. You can't stop it anyway. But it just felt like process was off there, where it's like, shouldn't you guys already know the play? I know that like Bills Mafia can be crazy. Highmark Stadium is there. It's always been a crazy place to play. I'm from the Western New York, Buffalo area. I'm not from Buffalo, but I'm from Western New York. I'm like an hour outside of Buffalo. And so I know how crazy Bills Mafia can get. I know how crazy it can be. But it just felt like they weren't prepared for this scenario. It was almost like the Ravens had already in their mind been like, oh, we won this game. Right? And they didn't really start processing that they had lost this game until, or they were going to lose this game until Derrick Henry fumbled. And they were like, oh, well, got it back. We're down. We're up by 2. We stopped 2-point conversion, whatever, right? And you could tell that they just weren't prepared. They were just, oh, we're just going to get it. And it just didn't seem like they were prepared for this particular scenario. And coaching-wise, that's a concern to me. And it has been for a while for the Ravens. It felt like you gave the play away. And then on top of that, if you convert, you win the game, right? So why would you not just then go for it? You threw it to DeAndre Hopkins in a dig. He got it. He got to about 4th and 1. Why not just go for it? You know, run a little bootleg to Lamar Jackson. Maybe they already think that, but you got Derrick Henry too, who's a bulldozer. Why not just hand it off to him and let him run it? Run a QB sneak with Derrick Henry. I don't know, anything, right? This just feels like you can do there's a lot of ways they could have got that first down, but they wanted to just punt because they turtled. They didn't get the first down on 3rd and 9, and then they decided to then punt the ball because then they felt if they don't get it on 4th and 1, then they're gonna lose the game. But it felt like in that game, once Derrick Henry fumbled the ball, and then you had Keon Coleman catch that fluke touchdown of like, I forget who he was throwing to, but it was one of the tight ends, I think. And it tapped off his hands, and then Keon Coleman was right there to back of them, so to just grab it. Once that stuff started happening, if I'm the Ravens, my first thought is if we give this ball back to Josh Allen, the game's over with. We just lost the game. So I don't understand what the thinking was there of let's go for it on 3rd and 9, get within a yard, and then just turtle and say, well, kick it and let our defense win. As if your defense was winning all game. They had just gave up their 38th point. You know what I mean? It just didn't felt like why are you leaning on your defense who hasn't been able to really stop Josh Allen since like the second quarter or like the mid-3rd quarter, and why would you rely on them? It just didn't feel like a good decision, and it felt like bad coaching and bad game management. And then the Bills were just kind of like, we fly as far as Josh Allen takes us, essentially. Like, it's like, if he's going crazy and he's doing crazy Josh Allen stuff, we're going to win the game. We're going to do that as long as we don't mess it up too bad. And I know that that's what great quarterbacks do oftentimes, but that's not what great teams do. And it just felt like two teams, and granted it's week 1, so I'm not going to get too harsh on any of these guys. It felt like two teams with really, really great generational transcending quarterbacks that are aggressively reliant on their ability to grind them out of spots. You know what I mean? Like, they're completely reliant on Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, respectively, to grind out a win when their defense can't show up, when their other wide receivers don't show up. And, like, it just doesn't... Like, again, like I was saying, like, I know this is going to be like a game of the year contestant for a lot of people, but this is my least favorite type of football. Honestly, probably second least favorite because I hate a game that's like low scoring. But even then, it's more interesting to watch a good defense show up than it is for me to watch two good quarterbacks just kind of will their offense to high scoring games where defenses don't show up on either side and the quarterbacks are kind of just getting are kind of bailing out their team constantly, right? And that's great. And I know that leads up to like MVP conversations, that leads up to all that stuff. But I really, and I know this is going to sound cliche as an Eagles fan and all that, I really care about winning. I care about watching teams win. I care about seeing winners win. I think that's really awesome. That's the true greatness to me, is watching people and a team come together to truly win a game. And this felt more like two great quarterbacks trying to stop their team from messing it all up. Like, it just, the Bills could not stop a nosebleed for most of the game. And their offense couldn't get going. And then by the end of the game, the Ravens couldn't stop a nosebleed, and Lamar just had to keep dealing and keep dealing and keep dealing when this guy is balling out of control. I mean, let me go to these stats real quick. Lamar Jackson was 14 for 19. Super hyper efficient. 209 yards. It was 11 yards per attempt. 2 touchdowns. His longest throw was 39 yards, and he only took 2 sacks. His rating total was 144.4. I'm sure you guys can kind of see it here. Like, it's just, that's a next level performance, and that doesn't even account for his rushing, right? Let's go to his rushing for a second. He had 6 carries for 70 yards. He was averaging 11.7 yards per carry, and he had a touchdown. And he had that crazy run where it looked like he was about to take like a 10-yard sack, turn it into like a 40, 50-yard gain. It was crazy. Classic Lamar Jackson stuff. It just felt like he kept bailing his team out. And because of poor game management from John Harbaugh and poor discipline on the back end of coverages from Jair Alexander, he still ends up with a loss, right? And this is why people get so frustrated with the conversation around QB wins and why there's such a campaign to devalue the win being used as a conversation piece around a quarterback's ability to be great, which is understandable from a standpoint of wanting to celebrate the great quarterbacks that we have, like a Josh Allen, like a Lamar Jackson, like a Joe Burrow, like a Justin Herbert, the guys who are really, really great, truly great, who don't have rings, right? Who don't win as much as the other guy, right? I mean, that's a separate conversation to go as deep into what I just genuinely feel about that. I do think we've gone a little too far with that conversation, but this is a perfect example of the wins are not a QB stat conversation, right? Because Lamar was just dominating in this game, and he definitely got failed by his team. Not necessarily his team specifically, mainly his defense. Because I think Derrick Henry was balling. Zay Flowers, I mean, let's go to Derrick Henry's rushing. 18 carries for 169 yards and 2 TDs. He was averaging 9.4 yards per carry. Zay Flowers. Let's look at Zay Flowers receiving. Zay Flowers was targeted 9 times, caught 7 of them, 7 receptions for 143 yards and 1 touchdown. He was averaging 20.4 yards per reception, right? So, and he was averaging 15.9 yards per target. So he had help on the offensive side, and I thought his D-line was doing really good. I mean, not his D-line, his O-line was doing really, really well. But in the end, his defense can't show up, and we were all going to go with Josh Allen went crazy, and I think he did. He was fantastic, of course. But if Jair Alexander is not 10 yards off the ball and is not killed 2 times in a row, they probably don't win this game, if I'm being honest with you. Jair Alexander, old man Jair Alexander, Jair Alexander showed up, in that last Bills drive for the Bills, and he just looked like he fell asleep. And again, this goes back to like where I was thinking, and these are culture conversations, but it felt like the Ravens had kind of like put themselves in a place of like, we won this game, right? And like there's nothing that's gonna stop us. We won this game, and it just felt like they weren't ready to like handle any sort of pushback from the Bills. Uh, so I mean, just like Jair Alexander fell asleep. That last drive was horrible from their defense. Uh, that last drive on offense, in my opinion, it wasn't horrible, but I thought it was decision making wise, game management wise, I thought it was pretty bad. But we just saw two of the best quarterbacks in the league just ball out and go crazy, and they literally had to just drag their team to a win here. And to be honest with you, I think Lamar dragged his team to a win. I think he did, but his defense didn't show up at the end. And then Josh Allen obviously dragged his team to this win as well. He also got bailed out a little bit too with the play at the end, or not the end of the touchdown that brought them within two, where he clearly throws an incomplete pass, but it tips up, and for some reason nobody on that Ravens defense knocks it down. They just kind of let it float, and then Keon Coleman is in the back of the end zone, bomb, goes down. Which, I mean, great play by Keon Coleman, much respect. He also had a pretty big game as well. 8 receptions for 112 yards and a touchdown, 14 yards per reception. Big game for him too. Nice to see him show up. It just felt like two quarterbacks, two good offenses not getting the help they need from their defense. And we're gonna see if that continues. Is this week one defense is not there yet conversation? Is this just what their defenses are? But if I'm going to talk about my Lamar versus Josh Allen or Ravens versus Bills, because I don't really like doing the Lamar versus Josh Allen, quarterback versus quarterback. I hate that conversation because it's like none of these quarterbacks are playing by themselves. They're not going against each other. They're playing with a team. So, but as far as Ravens versus Bills games, I prefer the last one that was in the playoffs. That was much better. It was a nice actual defensive game mixed in with great quarterback play, and just that's what football is to me. I'm not a huge fan of these like 40-41 games, and these games happen like 2 or 3 times every year of these like two great juggernaut teams just racking up points on each other in the middle of the season or in the start of the season. And it's usually because their defenses are not there yet. And can you really name any team that has been in one of these types of games where it's high scoring and a shootout that have actually won a Super Bowl? I mean, I'm kind of talking out of my butt with that one specifically. I don't know specifically. If anyone could tell me in the comments, for sure, let me know. But I have not seen a team win a Super Bowl that has had a game like this before. It's usually if they're putting up 41 points, they're usually killing a team 41 to like 12 or 20 or something. That's usually a team that's going to win the Super Bowl. So to me, this is a sign of like possibly these teams are going to struggle in the playoffs. They're going to struggle to get big stops and big moments, but they're going to have great quarterbacks that are going to bail them out and bail them out and bail them out until they hit the right team in the playoffs and they can't bail them out anymore. That's what happened with Lamar last year. That's what happened with Josh Allen when he got to the Chiefs. You just couldn't bail them out anymore. Yeah. So I for anybody who's a Bills fan, Ravens fan, don't get too excited about this. Both either negatively or positively. Just take it. It's week one. Keep moving. Let's hope the Bills defense gets better. Let's hope the Ravens defense gets better. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, other than that, my other observations are like Derrick Henry is still that guy, by the way. Like Derrick Henry, 31, putting up the numbers he put up. I said them already, but just like, man, the fact that he's still doing this at 31 and still killing dudes. I mean, I was hating last year because I was that Eagles fan that was like, well, no, Saquon's better. It's like, nah, Derrick Henry's better, man. He's like love Saquon, but Derrick Henry's been doing this consistently for like almost a decade now at this point, right? So it's at a position that is notorious for guys like losing their ability to play it at like 26. So like, you know what I mean? Like it's just he's incredible, a true Hall of Famer. We're witnessing greatness with that guy. Yes, he had that fumble in this game, and that sucked. But he's truly a great. He's truly a great, and he needs to be remembered as such. He's probably going to end up being in a conversation for one of the greatest running back, if not one of the great, if not the greatest running back of all time, one of the greatest running backs of all time. I mean, I think when it's all said and done, we're going to be talking about him in that conversation with Barry Sanders and Eric Dickerson and these truly great players, Emmitt Smith. He's just incredible, and he's just done it for so long at a position where that is notorious for destroying guys' knees and bodies. It's just he's like the LeBron James of running backs. It's crazy. What else was the other observation? Lamar Jackson's the best quarterback. I got that all right. Bills still have defensive issues, but the Bills are resilient. That's something I wanted to talk about. How resilient the Bills showed themselves to be in this game. Because yes, the defense was getting killed all game, but they really when they saw that when Josh started showing them like, oh, we got a chance in this game, they were like, okay, let's tighten up. Let's tighten up. We still got that. We still got number 17 over there. He's still, whenever we have him, he gives us a chance, right? And I think that was nice to see from a team that was clearly probably wasn't getting the results that they wanted early on, and just were getting their butts kicked by one of the best quarterbacks in the league. This rivalry is fun, man. I mean, this is like, no matter how I feel about it, like the type of game this was, it still was a fun game, and it was extremely entertaining. And they do that for us every time they play. These two guys put on a show every single time they play. It's never, a boring game. It's never a blowout. It's never any of that stuff. It's always this tension-filled back and forth like chess match, and it's just fun to watch these guys. Two of the best right now in their primes. Two of the best who are probably going to go down as two of the greatest ever to really play this game, and they're giving us gems, right? Yeah, I mean, there's not really much else to say about this game to me. Like, I'm not disappointed in anything. It's just more like not my favorite style of big time great game. I love a good 27 to 20. Like I like, honestly, I love that Chiefs Chargers game a whole lot more than I like this game. I had way more fun watching that game than watching this one from a like football perspective. This one's more of just like fireworks. Sometimes I like my fireworks mixed in with a little bit of defensive like playing and great fireworks from the defensive end. And here it just didn't really have a lot of that. It had more like defense, like, making plays early on, but not really doing the thing they needed to do. Yes, there was the fumble and all that stuff, but it was just that stuff started coming too little too late. And it's just, I like my games look like 27-20, 30-25, where it's like high scoring, but also defensively there. But a really entertaining game. It's probably going to be on a lot of people's game of the year contestant or a contestant for game of the year later in the year. But yeah, it was fun. It's going to be fun to watch these guys throughout the year. Who do they got next? Let me see their week 2. Let's go week 2 here. I want to see who their opponents are going to be next week. You got Bills at Jets. Bills should handle that pretty well. Maybe not. I don't know. Justin Fields was looking kind of crazy today. I'll keep that for my observations video coming out. I'll have that come out on like Monday or Tuesday, or tomorrow Tuesday. Ravens are playing. Who are the Ravens playing? Ravens got the Browns. Now the Ravens. Now that should, yeah. Sorry, Browns fans. Sorry, Browns fans. You had a little fun today against the Bengals, but Ravens are gonna be taking out all their frustration on y'all next week. They're gonna it's. I wouldn't be mad if they hung another 40 burger on you guys. But yeah, it's gonna be fun to see these guys progress. It's gonna see how they respond to this game and how it goes. We're still in that period of the season where it's things are a little more preseason like because these teams don't really play as much in the preseason. So it's we're still not getting the best ball, but we're getting really good games, fun stuff. This is a really good fun Sunday, and he capped it off with a crazy game, fun crazy game with a lot of crazy stuff going on. But yeah, all you really need to take from this game is Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson are 1A and 1B right now in the NFL. It's 1A, 1B. It's just they're the same level at this point, and they're gonna snatch games from each other here and there. And personally, I think if you're gonna blame Lamar for this, don't do that. Lamar was going crazy. This game was not his fault. And I know the Jalen Hurts people are gonna come out with but he didn't win the game. He's gonna win. It's but not every situation is a Jalen Hurts just go make the plays to win the game. He made the plays, they didn't win the game. You know what I mean? It's at a certain point when a guy's making the plays and they still don't win, and his team is not helping him out. You can't be crapping on a guy for that. But yeah, great game. It's fun to watch. Had fun talking about it. Want to see more out of these guys' defenses. Want to see these teams be more complete. But hopefully we'll get that later in the season. Watch out for tomorrow where I'm going to have my Vikings-Bears reaction. And this was fun, guys. Go Birds. Forever. See you soon.